his father again, right, Paul, and they had their emotional schism, I guess is the word for it. And people got really triggered when I was like, hey, Paul isn't the best dad ever, right? And I don't like too much here in this stream, but I do. Let's break down two things. I want to say two things, right? First of all, some people were like, oh, you're taking only Rudeus' side, right? No, I'm not taking Rudeus' side. I did focus on Paul in the last review, but that's because we already know about all the Rudeus issues. So I was like, we talk a lot about issues that Rudeus has. So I was like, I think we talk about Paul instead this time, right? That's one reason. And otherwise, of course, I think they're both wrong, right? So anyway, I did a Twitter poll this week. This kind of the result. Make it a bit bigger. This is the result of Twitter poll we had over this week here. Follow me Twitter, whatever, so all right. And yeah, I like that people are, of course, mostly. I like the results here, everyone. I do, right? Because people are slightly in favor of Paul, right, over Rudues. I know I misspelled his name. But mostly people are like, neither is right, or both are right. Yeah, so I feel the majority of people agree that they're both wrong, right. Like there's no winner, there are two losers, right? And that's definitely where I stood myself as well, right? They obviously could both do it better, right? And that's why it's well written, of course, because Paul isn't the perfect father. Paul has some issues, right? And so does Rudeus. And that's why the writing was really good last episode, because you feel that Paul is an actual person, an actual character, right? A character with depth and dimensions, right? That he has different kind of good and bad qualities, which I was, and also why I think was kind of funny last week. People got so angry at me. Some people did, because I was like calling out Paul. I was like, yeah, but I mean, Paul did cheat on his wife and so on. Like, he's not the perfect model. He's not the perfect model father. Come on. I'm not saying he's the worst father ever, right? I'm just saying that he's also not like the best father ever. But, for example, and I love people who are defending Paul cheating on his wife. I'm also, because I'm just saying this thing, right? Cheating on your spouse means that you are probably that you are not a good parent. Because if you cheat on your spouse, that causing a drama and a drift in your family, right, that will affect your children, right? So if you cheat on your wife or your husband, it probably will affect your kids too, right? Not only your wife or whatever, right? For example, that's a good example of not being a good father, because it's gonna cause issues with the mom and so on, right? But anyway, let's watch the episode. So 3, 2, 1, and go. Don't wanna bore you too much. I think we're gonna have, of course, Paul's story this episode, right? Because we had the preview is like Paul, right? So here we go. This is probably when they are. I guess he's got teleport. I guess. Yeah. So of course norn, she's with him, of course. Given this episode, they probably just got teleport here. I guess we won't see what happened before then. I was hoping we're gonna see mom and so on, but I don't think we're gonna see mom, right? We probably won't see mom for a while, and of course bonus mom, his second wife. Yeah, the maid. Yeah, his other wife, his other woman, his other harem girl, and his other daughter, of course. Yeah, so it must be when he used. Okay, maybe we can see what happened. No. Little norn. It's probably a heavy episode. I expect it to be that, we're gonna probably see Paul being all depressed, right? Trying to find his wife and so on, right? And or daughter, of course. Yeah. We're probably gonna see Paul struggling, right? Trying to find the other Norse and get sick and so on. Most likely, right? Most likely we're gonna follow the different struggles he has. And of course we're gonna see probably a decline in his mental health, right? It's gonna go like becoming more and more depressed over this year here, most likely. Or we kind of know that he's gonna be depressed, but I mean, oh, here we go. He's like, oh, yeah, they just vaporized this place. Be some survivor tent. Yeah, trying to find people. I guess like a priest or something. Let me get Oh, it's a sad opening. They have a different opening song than they usually have. And now I guess Paul is becoming the leader here, I think. He's becoming kind of like the gatherer guy of people. Yeah, something like that. Now he's not shaving or so, right? Yeah, now he's persecuting him. Man, they're really wrapping up this backstory fast, honestly. Oh, little Norn, his only light in his life. Yeah, wholesome Norn. The only one for daddy. Yeah. The flowers are rotting and so on. Yeah, of course they are. Now we're seeing it. He's getting angrier and angrier, of course. But this is what I mean, though, in Rudues' defense, though, right? That he's getting angrier and angrier and drunker and, you know, and that stuff, right? So he should be a little more positive when his son is back. He's probably is gonna be happy this episode, though. But still, you know what I mean? Like, he could have been a little more happy that Rudues was alive, right? At least showing him happiness, right? I won't say he wasn't happy. I'm saying that he could have been more openly happy for his son's sake, right? You know? This has to be before he met Rudues, then, right? Probably. I kind of wonder what Eris is gonna do too, right? Eris getting all pissed off. Yeah, and that was Eris like, "Ugh!" And she's like, "How do I solve this thing? Hug?" Yeah, and she's all sundry. I don't know what to do right now. Yeah. Oh, but here we go. He's like a drunk car now, right? Yeah, of course. It's gonna be his. Oh, it's Kawhi. Yeah, it's a Kawhi-kun. Is he gonna be the the middleman? He's gonna be like, "Ah, you and Senpai?" I feel he's gonna come in here and say today. Yeah, I listen to you. I kind of like that he's coming in and being like, "Let me, yeah, let me talk to you about that." Yeah, it's kind of nice, you know. It's kind of the bonus party member coming in on the sideline, being like, "Oh, you have issue with your son? I think he's a great guy. Let's talk about that." Yeah, it's like, you know, he's coming in here, helping out the relationship. Yeah. Yeah. See the kid though. Yeah, it's good Kawhi. Kawhi, I feel he's taking Rudu's side, right? You know, he's his senpai after all. He's like, you know, your son is still a kid, right? Yeah, he's like a little bit, you know, he's still a child, you know, like. I think he's most taking Rudu's side, definitely. Being like, you know, you're the dad, right? Yeah. Building that up. Yeah, stupid genius son of mine. So it's been an issue, I said last week, yeah. That Paul and his, you know, couldn't really handle that his son is like goddamn genius, right? And also, of course, actually like grown up and grown ass man in that boy's body, but it's not really. Yeah, I think it's gonna give Paul a little. I think it's gonna give Paul another perspective a little bit, right? On like, oh, you know, Rudeus fought those slave guys, right? I think it's gonna like give him a little perspective here on how I say it, on Rudeus' heroism, I guess, right? He wasn't just, you know, jerking off in a cave somewhere, looking at, you know. Yeah, he actually was doing stuff to some extent. Yeah, not all the time, but he was a hero some days, right? Yeah, got the little Tensei boy. Yeah, but it's the kids. Yeah, now it's like, yeah, give me a good story. But this is what I mean, that Paul was in the wrong, right? In this sense. I mean, they're both wrong, but in this part, because Rudeus clearly gave him the, you know, the rose tinted glass. Rudeus giving him like here's the good storytelling, right? Like, this was great. And, you know, Kawhi is like, yeah, but you know, people died and so on, yeah. Like, it's actually like, you know, it wasn't just, you know, super fun all the time, right? This way, you know, Paul should have maybe felt that his genius son was telling him the positive version of it, right? Yeah, it's like, oh yeah. He was like, you know, giving him the censored versions big, yeah. I mean, I'm sure we're gonna have like a heartfelt, emotional bit later. I kind of want to see what Eris gonna do, honestly. I see how Eris gonna handle this thing. She try to talk to Rudeus, maybe. I feel maybe Rudeus would be better, but I could see Eris talking to Rudeus being like, maybe you should forgive your father, you know? Yeah, I can see her being at the other side, being like, come on, stop being so angry, yeah. / sad, you know. I could see her trying to be in the other side. Is that Norn? Oh, it's the Oppai lady, but she has clothes on her? What is this? She's wearing clothes. I understand, like I could recognize her. She's wearing like clothes on her. I don't understand what happened to her. Yeah, she's covering up her Oppais. It doesn't make any sense. Man, caused a lot of depression, definitely. Which, if you saw earlier, Norn is his, you know, only little light, right? It's the highlight of his life. Man, not getting all sad here. It's like remembering little Rudeus fun moments. And this is like his nightmare, maybe, with son dying. Yeah, oh man, it's like his. Yeah, he's some kind of nightmare visions of his son. I mean, he's really depressed, right? So of course he's gonna maybe even hallucinate on his. If you get, yeah, if you get delirium, you should definitely get delirium enough, right? If you're very, very depressed. Or this looks like the Washington Monument in the background. I guess it's a Minorot. I guess we saw earlier. You're gonna have like a feeling of a Minorot. Well, let's have some good bread there. Very little breads in this anime. Okay, so now it's time for Rudeus' side then. Eris pissed off, of course. Oh, here we go. They finally gonna meet. Okay, I wanna see. Eris gonna be like, "I'm kicking your ass, stupid uncle!" Come on. Here we go. I hate you. Yeah, here we go. You suck. God damn it. Yeah. Shut up. Yeah, come on. This is what I wanna see. Man, Eris being like, "I hate you. You're the worst father ever." Come on. She's so cute, man. You know, yes, yeah. Come on, I want to beat the crap out of him. God damn it. You gotta love her Sundra side. Come on, it's pretty little boy, man. Come on. Exactly, there we go. Kind of like, I feel like, you know, like an old school, like Hanna-Barbera cartoon character. Let me go. Leave me alone with you in 1 minute. Yeah, I got shit quick, man. I'm gonna show you my skills. Yeah. Oh man, that was fun. You know, I was waiting for that moment, definitely. For Eris to be like, yeah, let me kick his ass. Now it's gonna be probably a lot more tragic, sad, though, I feel. Okay, here we go. Second version. Yeah, second version of their father and son moment. Now I feel they're both gonna be a little more. I'll say it. Listen, you know, more willing to listen, perhaps, both of them. They both have regret. You know, guilt, I guess, forgiveness. I like that Paul actually shaved, right? Yeah, so Paul actually comes in here, shade off that little extra beard. I mean, beard, but yeah, he should have a beard, right? Kind of his rough beard. Yeah, so he kind of cleaned up, right? Can I show you the... Man, this is dramatic now then, but yeah. Of course, Rudeus never saw him as a dad in a full way, right? Because he's an isekai character, so... Which again is one of the good parts of the anime, of course, that it actually is an isekai character, not just a random... I was reincarnated, but I forgot who I am, you know? This bartender is like, oh, why am I doing it? Should I leave? Yeah, it's a little bit like, maybe this is a private moment, maybe I should go outside from it. It's like, But it's very different now. I like to see this case with Rudeus, because now he's more like, he's not, bravading, right? Last week he was like, oh dad, I had a great adventure! Now it's like, yeah, we had an adventure, me and Eris, yeah. Now it's a little more holding back. It's like, people died and it wasn't that fun, yeah. Yeah, what happened to mom, yeah. Maybe he doesn't know about it. I don't think Paul is an Eddie, I don't think we're gonna get any information on Palm and on the other people. The family. I like that the bartender was like, yeah. He was like, oh, this is a good moment here. He's like, he spots it. He's like, yeah, he's gonna be a dramatic son and dad moment here. Yeah. Oh man, you can see his dad cry. Yeah, but he's shaked up. Yeah, he shaves and so on. Yeah. Clean up a bit. The person is still there, of course, but he cleaned up. Yeah. Oh, he's gonna see himself, right? Oh yeah, he's gonna see himself. He's gonna see himself, of course. He's gonna, see his, play some Guilty Gear. Here we go, He doesn't play Best Boy Axel Odo, but he does play this, which is like a pretty cute, little. Very young girl, yeah. A young girl that has a body of a woman. It's, yeah, definitely a part of this anime that is very particular. Oh, is this his only friend? Yeah, and of course he got all this bad backstory, right, and so on. Man. He straggled up his only best friend or something. Yeah, and now he got, he's like, he had one friend, and then he beat it, yeah, and then it was like, well, this guy. This is of course the moment when he starts becoming Hikamura then. After he strangled his friend there. Yeah, he refused to go outside and so on, right? But, I think Rudeus sees himself a lot in his father, right? And I mean, his older self, of course. His Otaku Hikamori self, right? The guy that was, depressed at home and so on. So he can probably understand what Paul is feeling, right? Yeah, it's like Paul is going through what I went through in a sense. But Paul, of course, has it way worse. He has lost his wife and second wife and one daughter and so on. So not really maybe comparable to Rudeus strangling his Guilty Gear partner with, but still. Oh, here we go. So I'm gonna be a good son, Dad. Come on. Oh man. Oh, what's his plan? Man, it makes it so awkward, but this is good, man. This is some good anime, man. It makes it all awkward. God damn it, Rudeus. I have to make it so awkward, but man, I'm weak. I almost been weak for these father moments. Oh, look at this. Oh man, yeah. Yeah, there we go. It's gonna hug him, and it's gonna be all like, you know, arigato, do-san. Oh man. Oh, this is a maximum goosebumps, definitely. Oh, it's a nice forgiveness scene. You know, he's hugging his dad. Yeah. And, you know. Yeah. Now it's finally like, I'm happy you're alive, you know. Ikete, yeah, he's finally... But this is what he could have told him last week. That they wouldn't have to have so much drama, man. Could have told him this last week, right? Could have told him this last week, yeah. Could have told him that earlier. Oh, it's a very good scene. Oh man, I heard Paul crying and so on. Now is the... Paul definitely the most dramatic scene in this anime. Yeah. Oh, here we go, yeah. And that is all... Oh, it's a great scene, man. Oh, definitely the most dramatic scene in this anime, seeing Paul crying here and so on. Oh, definitely. Oh! Well, that was still, you know, dramatic but good though, right? Because now they're all, of course, friends with each other. I don't think they're gonna team up for that matter, but, you know. We know about Eris' grandpa is dead, right? Maybe Paul knows that. Yeah, we know about that stuff though. That's also coming to the question. Now they're hanging out and so on, yeah. Now they're all hanging out and so on, and they're all kawaii together. Eris is... Oh, who did she fight? God damn it, Eris. Eris is all... Oh, a bit of crap and so on, yeah. Eris is back, making it all comedy, yeah. Eris got into... Yeah, you just full on rage as always. Oh, stupid people. Oh, Eris. Yeah. Eris with the... Eris with them. Yeah. Oh, goddamn, Eris. She's the comic relief of the episode, definitely. Oh, yeah, heals it to core. Yeah, good. Gonna heal it. She definitely is a comic relief of this episode, man. I'm gonna like tear up a bit. A heavy episode. But yeah, I wonder... Be interesting to see where they go after this thing, right? Are they gonna go into the same mom or whatever, right? You know, or whatever. But I mean, like, you don't know where mom is, right? So, and again, we know the Eris family's in trouble too, right? So, gonna see what they're gonna do here, right? With Rudeus actually is gonna, and also Ghislaine, maybe, you know, top waifu. We see, right? Yeah, maybe save Ghislaine perhaps as well. Who knows? I will think Ghislaine is probably fine though, because she's so goddamn powerful, you know, and goddamn. Top waifu, right? But you know what I mean, like, yeah. It's a little bit like, what are they gonna do now, right? We got a lot of, like, people to save, right? So to speak. Stuff to do, you know? Yeah, tomorrow, eh? Yeah, but Eris like, I don't care, I trust you, boy! Yeah, I do what you wanna do, okay, yeah, you know? Yeah, the city has a... I think it has like an... it's like an Ottoman Empire feel to it, I think. Istanbul style to it. Minarets and so on, definitely. I would say from the art style. But this is me nerding out, you know. Oh, maybe a little bit of Imoto-chan, a little bit now. Come on, you like me, right? Come on, Oni-chan. Come on, Oni-chan. He's trying his best a little bit to be like... Yeah, I mean, we know he loves kids, right? So, you know, he's like, yeah. yeah, your brother's a great guy. Try to at least be like, come on, don't hate your brother too much, okay? He's coming in there like, Unisha's a pretty cool guy after all. And then we get the oppa lady and she's back with no clothes. Good. Because that was weird. We saw her with covering up her oppas. I was like, what happened, man? What happened to her, super... and they all get a figure. God damn it. He's like, that's my nerd son. Yeah, I gotta give his family one anime figure each before he leaves. Yeah, of course he does. Well, of course, Kohai is gonna join in with Paul, right? Yeah, he gets to be on Paul's portrait. I guess? Maybe? It feels like he's gonna team up with Paul, right? He's like, hey man, yeah, come on, I'm friend with your son, yeah. No, he leaves anyway? I don't know, yeah. It feels like he's like, I don't know, Paul is like, come on man, yeah. It feels a little bit like, you're my bro now, right? Yeah. And of course, Paul is getting all... So, spin-off when? When am I getting this Paul, Norn, and the Oppais spin-off? Yeah, when am I getting the spin-off of these people? And it was an Arc System work thing there, because it shows them get together. Yeah, of course it did. It's a nice scene there where he's staring at his son, riding away. Nah, it's a very emotional episode. Probably the best episode so far in this anime. At least from a pure, freaking emotional, wholesome, not so... Heavy episode, right? Oof. I haven't even looked at the comment section. I got all into it too much here. I got too deep into it, guys. Too deep into it. But anyway, let's review it. Now stuff to talk about, right? Of course. Let's go back to the heavy scene. I think when Paul's already crying there, that was the best scene, man. When he's all weeping like a baby. Then Rudeus starts crying too, it's alright. Yeah, here it is. This scene, yeah, bam, baby. That was a very good scene. I'm breathing slowly, right? When you get emotional myself, to be able to communicate, I need to breathe slowly so I can talk, right? Yeah. So episode 17 review, man. That was a heavy episode. Paul, Rudy, forgiving each other, befriending each other, so to speak. Had a lot of layers on it, right? And that's why much it's a good anime, of course, because the characters are like real people, right? Very often in animes we see this perfect parent, usually the mom. I have to say though, there's a lot more mothers, right, in the anime, I think, than fathers. But I think the positive remains, right? You see a lot of, I wouldn't call them one-dimensional, usually they're mothers, but they're too perfect, right? You know what I mean? More we see kind of like the super horrible Full Metal Alchemist parent or whatever. I'm not spoiling Full Metal Alchemist, but you probably know what I mean. Where it's like, oh holy shit, this first person evil, or Kill la Kill or something. Oh, this mom is freaking super evil, right? Very rarely do we see this writing on this level, right? With Paul, where this actually feels like an actual organic parent, an actual person that has good things and bad things as a parent, which is of course much more how real people are, right? Because in real life, you very rarely do you in real life meet people that have never done anything bad as a parent, but also you find bad parents that are still trying their best, sometimes so on, right? And most parents are kind of to be that guy, but definitely I think research-wise, most parents are kind of mediocre, right? At best, probably. If you're gonna be tragic about reality here. But anyway, so that's the writing point, right? Generally, the writing is always very, very good, right? Because Paul is a real person. This is a real person, a real parent, an actual. This actually feels like a real person, right? And that's why you actually like Paul, and you feel the most with it. And always this anime is so good because you actually feel like this is an actual person. He's an actual parent, right? He's all sad. He's angry at his son, but he loves his son, right? He loves his daughter and so on. So yeah, as always, right? Freaking Mushoku Tensei, top for me, easily the best anime this year. I say it every time, but it really is. The writing is like the best writing I've seen in years. Right, it is the best anime. It is. It is straight up the best anime. I'm talking to the require, of course, now because episode 17 you listen to me now. But you know what I mean. Like it is the best anime. Spoilers in my top 10 best anime this year is reading. Like there is no question about that, right? But anyway, let's play some other scenes. So first of all, in the episode, we start with seeing Paul's decline, right? So that's a good part of the episode, well. Because of course, in the beginning, he's a little more, clean. He doesn't have that big kind of scruffy beard. He's not drinking in the beginning, right? So of course, it starts with him and Norn just being like, "Oh, what happened to mom?" And it's like, "What happened to my mom?" Is right. We're stuck here in the other place. And then we follow Paul, and of course Norn, and it's mostly a young girl, right? And kind of following them on this trip, right? And he's trying to, of course, find her mom and so on, and Rudy and stuff like that, right? And it's a sad beginning, definitely. We see Paul's mental decline. He's getting more and more depressed, right? He's getting like delirious later on and so on. So yeah, just like and this is one thing that this anime does in particular, though, right? Is that they never have openings. I'm a huge opening fan, guys. Don't get me wrong, I do love openings, but this anime instead they have how to say it. I call it like I call it like world building openings, perhaps, because usually you show you like here's this harbor and they're showing you the landscape or so on. Can I show you how it looks, right? The landscape of a place or whatever. That's usually how they do it in Mushoku Tensei. This episode, though, I think it's really well done, right? Because instead of doing that, the typical style they do it, they went into like another more sadder, like a more kind of like Nobuya Yamutsu's sad music theme. They played that thing, and then of course we saw instead Paul, trying to find his wife and so on, right? And still showing you that landscape, right? Showing you here's snowing, here's raining, and still showing you kind of how the world looks, but doing it, of course, in like a sad version. So that was definitely, I think, a nice touch just from a general production standpoint. This anime, of course, is, and I mean, even if the anime didn't have so good production, I still think it would be the best anime, because graphics for me and art and so on is for me is the lowest thing that I rank, right? I really don't care that much about great animation ever. I mean, of course, I prefer if the anime looks good, right? But for me, that's like the lowest thing. Same with games, right? A video game for me, graphic is the absolutely by far the thing I don't care about. Right? It's very, very low for me, especially in video games. But the gameplay and so on is. I can play chess, you know what I mean? I like game. Yesterday I played a lot of Mahjong, actually. Yeah, yesterday I played Mahjong for like 3 hours, right? And Mahjong doesn't have much graphics, But anyway, that being said, though, this anime has really good production, right? It's pointed out, but yeah. I don't care about it personally that much, but it's still here, right? And it's very, very good, yeah. It's very, very good. Like having that extra little sad opening song and so on. So that's great. I mean, it doesn't hurt, right? But for me personally, I don't care about that much, though. But it doesn't hurt. Makes it even better, right? I mean, I'm not blind to it. I'm just saying that for me, it's the last thing I would care about, though. Little Norn was great. I loved it bit here that she's the only light, of course, in her father's life. Yeah, we didn't see so much of Norn. We didn't give so much of her personality, but she's like a young girl, right? That she's obviously kind of like the only thing that. Paul is going for him, right? He lost his other daughter and his son, right? And of course his 2 wives or whatever. So yeah, Norn is the only one that he has still left in his life, of course. And she keeps, she keeps being nice to him, of course, because he's her only dad and so on. And yeah, I guess if he didn't, you can definitely visualize Paul being at a much worse state if he didn't have, of course, little Norn with him, because there's 2 things, right? He has to protect her, so that gives him a little focus in life, a little clarity, right? So he won't to become like a complete, dumpster fire drunk guy in the end, right? He has to protect his daughter, so it gives him a little more mental clearance, right? To stay focused. So that's good where she's here. But also generally, she's kind of like his, again, the only one that kind of makes him happy, right? Makes him give him a little light in his life, right? So yeah, it's probably. Well, that's probably, but it's definitely very important for Paul, for his mental state, that he had Norn with him, right? Because otherwise he probably would be like, dead or something, right? But Yeah, he has Norn with him that gives him a little happiness and, being all kawaii and so on, and gotta protect her smile and so on, right? So, yeah, an important little daughter there to protect her father's mental state, right? Definitely. And I love the scene afterwards. She gives him this little flower krans, right? And then afterward we see it kind of decaying, right? So she gives that to him, and then we see it's like rotten and decaying in the next scene, right? So of course time passes and their life is getting worse and worse, right? Kind of like Paul's face and so on. Yeah, and Paul is getting more and more depressed, when he doesn't shave and so on. But yeah, that's a good part later on. Of course, he actually, he cleaned up right before he met his good old son, though. But yeah, they had a long meeting with Koa, really. Yeah, they had a long meeting with Koa, right? I think it was an interesting part. I didn't see this coming, and it was an interesting part, definitely. So, of course, Rudeus Koa that they picked up a previous arc, or arc, whatever you call it. He's kind of the guy coming and give him some perspective, right? And not to shit too much on Paul, right? As I said last review, obviously Paul isn't like the best father in every category, right? But he's trying his best, right? But one of the issues that Paul did last week, or issues about one of the faults he did, that you objectively say this was a bad parenting, I think that Koha here comes in and presents to Paul, right? And that is that he's like, well, yes, your genius son told you that, it was like sparkle and bubbles and rainbow shit. Yeah, he was like, oh, it's rainbow everywhere, so on, right? But as his Koai, he's like, but Senpai was lying, right? Yeah, so I think this is a good... someone had to, kind of awake that in Paul's brain, right? That, Rudeus kept telling you that it was rainbow and sunshine, but you understand he was lying, right? Yeah, so I think that's a good point. But that is one of the things I would say that Paul, as a parent then, right, did fail on last week, right? Because, I say my own kids, but, I have experience, right? And I think a lot of people have experience, and also maybe be kids too, but, a lot of children doesn't want to worry their parents, right? So if you ask them, how was school today? Even if they get bullied at school, they might be like, oh, it was fine, it wasn't that bad, That's kind of is the response, right? So it's a very, very common response, right? Very, very few children. You probably have been another way too, right? Maybe if you had a bad day and your mom was like, oh, school, honey, you're like, yeah, whatever, it was fine, You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about, right? So they have to say that Paul definitely fails as a parent, right? Because when Rudues was telling him the perfect version of his journey, he was clearly trying to ease Paul and being like, oh, I was great, Dad, nothing happened, we had fun, But here comes Koa and like, he had to fight these slave traders, right? And this shit happened, and there was like this demon monster appeared, and he's kind of giving him, like the bad points, right? It's like, you think about that, right? Not only though, but I think that's one thing that's important for Paul to actually consider, that maybe he was lying to me, try to make it easy for me, right? And then of course also the general notion that while your son is a genius, because I think everyone agrees to that thing, that Paul has too high expectations of Rudeus, and he's like, your son is a genius, but he's still a gaki, still a kid, right? Your son is still a kid, he's only a teenage boy, maybe, cut to some slack, right? So it's a good scene, definitely, giving that perspective that Paul needed, right? And then of course we see Eris definitely being the comic relief. I was just waiting for that. Holy shit, I was just waiting for that scene when Eris is like, let me at him. I'm just waiting for this scene, right? When Eris is like, oh, I'm gonna kick his ass. Yeah, here it is. I was just waiting for this scene when Eris is like, oh, I'm gonna kick his ass. Let me down, man, let me down. He's mine. I was waiting for Eris to go on like, I'm gonna show him, I'm gonna kick his ass. Yeah, just waiting for this. Then she returns later, with like, she's, get a punch in her face, right? Yeah, she's been out getting angry at people, right? But anyway, yeah, Eris is comic relief, but it was funny though. I love this scene. Yeah, cool. I mean, it was expected that Eris was gonna be like, oh, his ass, he's mine. Like, come on. Let's expect that. Anyway, let's go to the deep, emotional scene. Good episode, deep episode. Well, okay, you know what? Okay, let's talk about one thing before we talk about the deep emotional scene, right? Rudues the nerd. Yeah, so Rudues, of course, plays Guilty Gear. I haven't played as a Guilty Gear now in 2 months now. He does play the wrong character though. Obviously, Axel Lowe is the best character in Guilty Gear, so I do feel he's playing a freaking Ditsim, a freaking control, freaking like, yeah. But there is one thing, and I want to point it out again though, because I play a lot of Guilty Gear, right? And I am the highest ranked you can be in the Lewis Guilty Gear. It's up to 10 floors, and I'm in the pro league, whatever. I'm in the pro league. No, but seriously though, and I'm playing Axel Lowe, the best character, and. What can I say? I never faced any other XLO, so I'm probably like in the top 1% of XLO players, probably, because I'm the only XLO player or something. Like, I never have mirror matches. It's like once in 1,000 games, and I face Mai and so on, yeah. So, I don't know. I'm just saying that, I don't know percentage, but I think that I am very, very few of my character. But I want to put one thing up, because obviously I know a lot about Guilty Gear. And I said it last season, but there is definitely a good thing here in the anime with the art and so on, and that is that we know that, you know, Rudeus is a little bit of a hand, right? It's a little hentai, and there's a good point that obviously the best girl is Bridget for that matter in Guilty Gear, but we haven't played this game. He is playing then Rudues in his human world, right? He is playing Dizzy. Dizzy is a girl that is like 3 years old only. He is playing a girl that is like, it depends on what version you're playing in. She's a gear, and it depends on, you know, in what Guilty Gear you're playing, her age, right? But she's basically, spoilers, she's a daughter of the bad guy from the first game, and she's like this kind of like, you know, like a bioengineered kid, right? And she's basically, how to say it? She's a grown woman, right? Kinda, like, I know, a 20-year-old woman, but she's actually like 2 or 3 or something. she's actually like a 3-year-old. In this game he's playing, in this version, I think she's 3, right? So, and as you see in the first, or in the second episode I believe it is, of this anime, you see he has a lot of Disney figures, right? So I think it's a good point pointing out there, right? From the whole, you know, he's a hentai main character, right? It's an interesting point that he's really into Dizzy, yeah, because he definitely has the kind of the vibe of, you know, he likes them young, you know, so to speak. But I'm just saying, I like that it's a consistency here that I like on a hen level. But I like it, right? Like the main character is playing this, 3-year-old girl that looks like a 20-year-old, you know, that kind of. You know what I mean. Come on, let's be honest. You all know what I mean. He's a freaking. The main character is a perv. You know what I mean. But he's probably playing the most pervy character in Guilty Gear. Seriously, maybe Bridget, I suppose, depending on what you prefer. You know, what to Kanukos. Otherwise, though, it was a good scene, of course, because I mean, the point of the scene primarily is strangling his family, right? Kind of badass. Rudeus being a douchebag, yeah, but of course the point of the scene is that he remembers that he sees himself, right, in Paul, and then he of course decides to forgive Paul because he's like, oh, I used to be depressed, I see depression. He had, you know, Rudeus clearly had chronic depression, right, in the human world, because he was hikikomori. He never left his home after this fight with his like only friend here. He never, you know, left his house or whatever, right? And of course he sees himself a lot in that, in Paul's action, right? Yeah. So again, you know, good writer, because it makes sense that he would understand what Paul is going through. Not exactly the same, of course. As I mentioned, the reaction part, Paul is like losing his family, and Rudeus is like, I have no friends, kind of thing, right? So, you know, not exact same context, but he can like understand his father's emotions, right? And then of course he decides to hug him, and that was a really good scene. So let's go to the last part there. I went over the long review here, but yeah, very good episode. And then of course we do the hug again. Yeah, a beautiful hug scene, and he jumps at his father. But yeah, it was a very nice episode, very emotional episode. I think the most emotional episode from that sad notion, right? And hopefully Paul is gonna feel a lot better now, right? Coming up here, more happy, rejuvenated. Is that a hard word to pronounce? Okay, in my defense, come on. Rejuvenated from his, meeting his son saying he love him, and and so on, right? So yeah, it's a really good scene, and we didn't. I will say one thing though, from Rudeus' perspective, he's kind of like, oh, I understand why he's angry for. I'm gonna forgive him, kind of that in that way, right? but he doesn't really like see him as his dad yet, though. Yeah, he doesn't really like. I would say that for Rudeus is more like, I understand what he said. I'm gonna, I will hug him, but it's just really like he sees Paul as his dad, right? But it's a little sad in that way, even though he kinda sees him as a father. I think what I guess is lacking here, perhaps, is to understand why Rudeus hated his parents in his older life. Like, why wasn't he with his, why did he hate his mom and dad in his first life? And maybe the anime could explore a little more on the difference between his, new parents versus first parents, maybe something. Could be an interesting kind of deep look on that, right? Maybe the novel covers it more in detail. I definitely expect the actual, of course, source novel here to go into more details on Rudeus' previous parents, and maybe a little more comparison between his new dad and old dad and so on. That's something I would love to see more of. Yeah, not like too much, but there could be like one episode, right? Or this could be this episode would be a good part for that. But I mean, it'd be pretty slow pace, but yeah, something like that could have been a little more on maybe comparing his previous parents and so on. But otherwise, yeah, great episode as always. Mushoku Tensei, the writing is stellar, sad, emotional scene episode, and I wonder now though what they're gonna do. This is generally speaking now here. I'm guessing they're gonna go. I would guess next episode is gonna be about Eris' grandpa, right? I'm just throwing it out here. I mean, just shower theory, I'm an anime only. Maybe, right? Maybe going into because we saw him getting, of course, executed a few episodes ago, so that has to be something they're gonna have to deal with eventually, right? This season, or it's be kind of weird. And maybe next week, maybe meeting Ghislaine again could be one thing. I was like, where's my waifu? Yeah, maybe Ghislaine. They kind of split apart, and I'm guessing there's a side story about what Paul is doing with his wife and so on. I guess there's a side story what Paul is doing with Norn and his, two new waifus. Even though I know he didn't smash them, but it's well, a man can dream, right? Oppa lady, yeah. But that will be my guess for next week, guys. That I think we're gonna meet up with, wrong words there. Not meet up with Grandpa, but learning and trying to deal with Grandpa getting executed, framed, murdered, right? I think so. I would guess so. I think it's gonna come back. It has to come back, I feel, before the season ends, right? So probably next week. But anyway, guys, that's the review. Appreciate it. Slap it. So I see you guys tomorrow with some more anime. And I think I'm gonna do the first video tomorrow about High Garden Spice. It's gonna be really fun because it's like the worst anime ever. So I have one video. I either do it today or tomorrow, first video of High Garden Spice. When I'm like, this is a great anime! Let's be honest here. Otherwise, I'm working on a t-shirt with Ghislaine. I'm doing my own, trying to make a new t-shirt with Ghislaine, right? So I want to have a t-shirt with, the idea is to have Ghislaine, Miruko, and like Merlonas on the same t-shirt. I'm trying to mix it up there. It's not that easy. But anyway, see you guys and have a great day. And of course the button in the fridge here.